On a misty spring morning at Willow Creek Stables, the world changed for a beautiful horse named Thunder. He was a strong Appaloosa with spots like stars scattered across his white coat, the kind of horse that made people stop and stare when he galloped across the fields. At 6 years old, Thunder was in the prime of his life, with eyes that seemed to understand everything happening around him. The day started like any other. The stable hands filled the water troughs and spread fresh hay, while the horses nickered softly, eager for their morning feed. Rain had fallen heavily the night before, turning parts of the paddock into slippery mud. Thunder's owner, Dr. Anna, had raised him since he was a wobbly-legged foal. She was a horse doctor who had helped countless animals over the years, but Thunder held a special place in her heart. "Be careful out there today," she warned the stable workers as she checked on her horses before heading to her clinic. "That paddock's going to be slick until it dries out." No one saw the moment it happened. Maybe Thunder was spooked by a bird, or perhaps he was just running for the joy of it, feeling the cool morning air rush past as his powerful legs carried him across the field. Whatever caused it, Thunder's hooves suddenly lost their grip in the mud. His legs splayed out at terrible angles as he crashed to the ground with a sickening thud that echoed across the stable yard. The head stable hand, Miguel, heard the commotion and ran to the paddock. What he found made his heart sink. Thunder was struggling to rise, his front legs scrambling uselessly while his back half lay motionless in the mud. His eyes were wide with panic. "Call Dr. Anna," Miguel shouted to anyone who could hear, "and get the emergency kit." Within minutes, the stable yard burst into frantic activity. They managed to slide a tarp under the frightened horse and, with 8 people pulling together, moved him into a clean stall with soft bedding. Thunder's breathing came in harsh bursts, his nostrils flaring with fear and pain. When Dr. Anna arrived, her face went pale at the sight of her beloved horse. Thunder tried to rise when he heard her voice, but his hindquarters wouldn't respond. She ran her hands along his spine, feeling for injuries with fingers that had examined thousands of horses. When she reached a spot just behind his shoulders, Thunder flinched and gave a low moan. "We need Dr. Lee," she said quietly to Miguel. "Call him right now." Dr. Lee was the best horse specialist in 3 counties. He arrived 2 hours later with equipment rarely seen outside big university hospitals. The examination was long and thorough. Thunder had been given medicine for pain, but he still trembled when certain spots were touched. Finally, Dr. Lee stepped back, pulling off his gloves. The look on his face told the story before he spoke a word. "Anna, I'm so sorry," he said, his voice heavy with the weight of bad news. "His spine is damaged. The swelling is pressing on nerves that control his back legs. He might have some feeling there, but I don't think he'll ever stand again." Dr. Anna's eyes filled with tears. Everyone who worked with horses knew what this meant. Horses need to stand to survive. Their bodies aren't made to lie down for long periods. It crushes their organs and restricts their breathing. "How long?" she asked. "We can try anti-swelling medications for a week, maybe 2, Dr. Lee said gently. "But after that, it would be kindest to let him go." The news spread quickly through the stable. Thunder, the proud and beautiful horse who could once outrun the wind, now lay in a bed of straw, his future measured in days. The stable hands took turns sitting with him, making sure he was turned regularly to prevent sores, offering him water and his favorite treats. But the light in his eyes was dimming by the day. Dr. Anna made the hardest phone call of her life, scheduling a date when the vet would come to end Thunder's suffering. It was set for 2 weeks away, giving them time to try everything possible and to say goodbye. What nobody knew was that fate had other plans, in the form of a small girl with pigtails and a stubborn streak as wide as Thunder's paddock. 3 days after Thunder's accident, a beat-up blue pickup truck pulled into the Willow Creek Stables parking lot. Out jumped a little girl with messy braids and a purple backpack shaped like a unicorn. Her name was Lily, and at just 6 years old, she saw the world differently than most people. She noticed things others missed, felt things others brushed aside, and never, ever gave up on anything she cared about. "Hurry up, Daddy," she called, bouncing on her toes as her father gathered her riding helmet from the backseat. "We've got plenty of time, kiddo," he said with a smile. "Your lesson doesn't start for another 15 minutes. Lily had been taking riding lessons for just under 3 months. Every Saturday morning, she would wake up at dawn, put on her special riding pants, and wait by the door until it was time to leave. Horses weren't just animals to Lily, they were magic made real, friends who understood her without words. Her instructor, Ms. Beth, greeted them at the stable entrance. Something about her smile seemed sad today. "Good morning, Lily. We'll be working with Buttercup today instead of Thunder." Lily's face fell. Thunder was her favorite, gentle despite his size, patient with her beginner mistakes. "Why? Is Thunder sick?" she asked. Ms. Beth exchanged a look with Lily's father. "He had an accident, honey," Ms. Beth said carefully. "He hurt his back and can't stand up right now." "Can I see him?" Lily asked immediately. "That's not a good idea," Ms. Beth said. "He's in a special stall and needs lots of rest." Lily nodded, but anyone who knew her well would recognize the determined glint in her eye. Throughout her lesson on Buttercup, she kept glancing toward the far end of the stable where the sick horses were sometimes kept. During a water break, Lily overheard two stable hands talking in low voices. "Poor Thunder," said one, shaking her head. "Dr. Anna's scheduled the vet for next Friday." "Nothing else they can do," agreed the other. "Can't let him suffer." Lily didn't understand everything they said, but she understood enough. When Ms. Beth was helping another student, Lily slipped away, following the sound of soft whinnies and the smell of medicine to a large stall at the end of the barn. There lay Thunder on a thick bed of straw, his once proud body unnaturally still. Only his head lifted when Lily approached, his eyes cloudy with pain. A sign on the stall door read, "No visiteurs," but Lily had never been good at following rules that didn't make sense to her. She squeezed through the stall bars, being small had its advantages, and approached the horse carefully. "Hi, Thunder," she whispered. "It's me, Lily." The horse's ears perked up at her voice. He gave a soft nicker that made Lily smile. Instead of being scared by the sight of the big animal unable to stand, Lily sat down cross-legged by Thunder's head. She reached out slowly and began stroking his neck, the way her dad had taught her. "My daddy fixes people who get hurt," she told Thunder conversationally. "He helps them walk again when doctors say they can't. He says sometimes bodies just forget how to work right, and they need to be reminded." Thunder's breathing seemed to steady as she talked. His eyes, which had been dull with pain, focused on her face. "You just forgot how to stand up," Lily continued. "But you can remember. I'll help you." She reached into her unicorn backpack and pulled out a bright red apple she'd been saving for a treat. She held it near Thunder's nose, letting him smell the sweetness. "I'll bring one every day until you can stand up and take it yourself," she promised. That's how Dr. Anna found them 20 minutes later, Lily singing softly to Thunder, his massive head resting gently against her small lap. For the first time since the accident, the horse looked peaceful. "Lily," Dr. Anna exclaimed, torn between concern and amazement. "You shouldn't be in there." "He was lonely," Lily said simply, continuing to stroke his neck. "And sad because he thinks he can't get better. But he can. My daddy helps people walk again. Maybe he can help Thunder too." Dr. Anna opened her mouth to explain why horses were different, why some injuries couldn't be fixed, but something stopped her. Maybe it was the way Thunder seemed more alert than he had in days, or maybe it was the absolute certainty in the little girl's voice. "Where is your father now?" Dr. Anna asked instead. By the time Lily's father, Tom, found his daughter in Thunder's stall, a small crowd had gathered outside. Dr. Anna was checking Thunder's vital signs, while Lily continued talking softly to the horse, completely unaware she had done anything unusual. "Daddy," Lily jumped up when she saw him. "This is Thunder. His back is hurt, and he can't stand up. Just like Mrs. Wilson when you first met her, remember?" Tom Collins looked embarrassed. "I'm so sorry," he said to Dr. Anna. "Lily knows she shouldn't wander off." "It's okay," Dr. Anna replied, still watching Thunder with a puzzled expression. "His heart rate is the most normal it's been in days." Tom moved closer to the horse, professional curiosity overtaking his initial concern. As a physical therapist who specialized in spinal injuries, he'd helped countless people regain movement after doctors had given up hope. But he'd never worked with animals. "What exactly happened to him?" Tom asked. Dr. Anna explained Thunder's fall and the diagnosis of partial paralysis. The spinal cord isn't completely severed, but the damage and swelling are severe. In horses, this is almost always a death sentence. They can't survive long without standing. Tom nodded thoughtfully. Have you tried any kind of physical therapy? On a 1,000-pound horse? Dr. Anna gave a sad smile. It's not exactly standard practice. Daddy can fix him, Lily announced confidently. He fixed Mr. Chen's legs after his accident, and the other doctors said he'd never walk again. Lily, honey, people and horses are very different, Tom tried to explain gently. But not that different, Lily insisted. Thunder wants to get better. Look at his eyes. Both adults turned to the horse, who was indeed watching them intently, as if understanding every word. I know it sounds crazy, Tom said slowly, but what if we did try a modified therapy approach? In humans with similar injuries, we sometimes see remarkable recovery with the right interventions. Dr. Anna looked torn. I've already scheduled the euthanasia for next Friday. Give us until then, Tom urged, just to see if there's any response. What do you have to lose? Later that evening, after the stables had quieted down, Dr. Anna sat in her office looking at old photos of Thunder. On her desk lay a hastily drawn sketch from Tom, a design for a special sling system that could help support Thunder's weight while preventing muscle atrophy. Beside it was a list of exercises adapted from human physical therapy but modified for equine anatomy. It was ridiculous, of course. No veterinary school taught horse rehabilitation for paralysis cases. The medical consensus was clear. A horse that couldn't stand couldn't survive. Period. And yet, Dr. Anna thought about the change in Thunder when Lily sat with him. She thought about cases in her career where animals had defied all medical expectations. Most of all, she thought about giving up on Thunder without trying everything possible. Her phone rang, startling her from her thoughts. It was Tom. I've been researching all afternoon, he said without preamble. There's a case from Sweden where they used a modified harness system for a horse with temporary paralysis from Lyme disease. It's not exactly the same, but... Come by tomorrow morning, Dr. Anna interrupted. Bring your tools and whatever equipment you need. Really? Tom sounded surprised. Really? I cancelled the appointment with the vet. We've got 2 weeks to try your ideas before I have to make that call again. The next morning arrived with a flurry of activity. Tom arrived early, his truck loaded with materials. Lily bounced alongside him, carrying a small backpack full of apples and carrots. The stable hands watched curiously as Tom measured Thunder and the stall, making calculations and adjustments to his designs. Dr. Anna called in favors from every veterinarian she knew, gathering medicine and equipment not typically used in horse treatment. What exactly is the plan? Asked Miguel, the head stable hand, as he helped Tom secure brackets to the stall walls. We're going to teach Thunder how to remember his legs, Lily answered before either adult could speak. And then he's going to stand up again. Miguel looked skeptical, but something about the absolute certainty in the little girl's voice made him nod anyway. Well, he said, handing Tom another tool, I guess we better get started then. By the end of the week, Thunder's stall had been transformed into something that looked like a mix between a hospital room and a playground. Tom's design for the sling system was finally ready, a complex arrangement of sturdy straps and pulleys that could support Thunder's weight while allowing his legs to touch the ground. It's not perfect, Tom warned as he and Miguel made final adjustments. But it should take enough pressure off his spine to let his muscles remember what they're supposed to do. Getting Thunder into the sling was a challenge that took 6 people, plenty of patience, and nearly 2 hours. The horse was nervous at first, rolling his eyes and tossing his head when the straps went around his belly. But Lily sat near his head the whole time, feeding him apple slices and telling him stories about all the things they would do once he could walk again. Just a little longer, she promised, stroking his nose. Then you can stand up like a real horse again. When Thunder was finally secure in the sling, with his hooves just touching the ground, everyone stepped back to see what would happen. The horse hung there, confused, his legs dangling uselessly. Now what? Dr. Anna asked. Now we remind his body what it's supposed to do, Tom explained. He demonstrated a series of gentle movements, carefully bending and straightening Thunder's back legs. We need to do this several times a day to keep the muscles from wasting away and to send signals to his brain. Like when you squeeze a sponge that's been dry for too long, Lily added. First nothing happens, but if you keep squeezing, water starts to come out again. Tom smiled at his daughter's simple but accurate explanation. Exactly. His nerves are like dry sponges right now. We need to keep squeezing until the signals start flowing again. Days turned into weeks. The initial excitement faded into a grueling routine. Every morning, Thunder was carefully lifted in the sling for 2 hours of therapy. Tom and Dr. Anna worked together, gently manipulating his legs while Lily sat nearby, encouraging Thunder with stories and treats. At midday, they would lower him back to rest, then repeat the process in the evening. The stable hands took turns helping, though some shook their heads when they thought no one was looking. All this work for nothing, they whispered. You can't fix a broken horse. But Lily never doubted. Even when Thunder seemed tired or frustrated, she would whisper in his ear, just one more try. You can do one more try. On the 10th day, during the evening session, something changed. Tom was moving Thunder's right hind leg through the usual exercises when he felt a tiny push back against his hand. Did you feel that? He asked Dr. Anna excitedly. Feel what? She asked, looking up from where she was checking Thunder's front leg. I think he moved. Just a little, but I swear he pushed against me. They watched intently as Tom tried again, moving the leg carefully. This time they all saw it, a small but definite twitch of muscle as Thunder tried to move his leg by himself. Lily clapped her hands. He's remembering. News of the small movement spread through the stable like wildfire. The next morning, more people gathered to watch the therapy session. Thunder seemed to sense the excitement. His ears perked forward as they lifted him into the sling. This time, when Tom moved his leg, the response was stronger. Thunder wasn't just twitching, he was actively trying to move. His muscles trembled with the effort, but there was no denying it. He was fighting to control his own body again. It's working, Dr. Anna whispered, tears filling her eyes. I can't believe it's actually working. That afternoon, a news reporter from the local paper came by. She'd heard about the unusual therapy from one of the writing students and wanted to see for herself. As she snapped photos of Thunder in his sling, with Lily holding a carrot just out of reach to encourage movement, she asked, "What made you think this would work when all the experts said it was impossible?" Dr. Anna looked at Lily, who was completely focused on Thunder, and then at Tom, who was carefully measuring the horse's muscle responses. Sometimes, she said thoughtfully, the experts don't know everything. And sometimes it takes a child to remind us of what's possible. The newspaper article brought unexpected attention to Willow Creek Stables. People drove from neighboring towns just to see the horse that was defying the odds. Some came with gifts, special treats for Thunder or hand-drawn cards for Lily. Others were horse owners or trainers curious about the therapy techniques. Thunder's progress continued slowly but steadily. By the end of the 3rd week, he could move both back legs a little, though not enough to support his weight. His muscles were growing stronger each day. It's like watching a baby learn to walk, Tom explained to a group of visiting veterinary students. First they learn to control their movements, then they build strength, and finally they can bear weight. Dr. Anna had started documenting everything with photos and detailed notes. This could change how we treat injured horses, she told Tom one evening as they reviewed Thunder's latest improvements. Then came the morning everyone feared. Lily arrived for her daily visit to find a somber mood at the stables. Dr. Anna met her at the entrance, her face tired and worried. Thunder's not doing well today, sweetie, she explained gently. He has a fever, and there are some sores developing on his skin from lying down so much. Can I still see him? Lily asked, clutching her backpack strap. Dr. Anna hesitated, then nodded. Just for a little while. He needs rest. Thunder looked different, his eyes dull with pain, his breathing shallow. The progress of the past weeks seemed to have vanished overnight. A visiting veterinarian was examining him, shaking his head as he spoke quietly with Tom. These pressure sores are getting infected, the vet was saying, and his lungs are showing signs of congestion. This is exactly why horses with his condition are usually put down quickly. Their bodies just aren't made to lie down for weeks. Lily walked straight to Thunder's head, ignoring the adult's conversation. She placed her small hand on his nose. "You're not giving up, are you?" she whispered. "Because I'm not." Thunder's ear twitched toward her voice, but his eyes remained half-closed. The vet continued, "You've done amazing work, but you might need to consider what's kindest for him now." Tom looked torn. "We've made so much progress." "And you should be proud of that," the vet said. "But at what cost to his comfort?" Dr. Anna watched Lily, who had taken a book from her backpack and was now reading to Thunder in a soft voice. The horse's breathing seemed to calm as he listened. "Let's give him the weekend," Dr. Anna decided. "If he's not improved by Monday, we'll reconsider." That night, Lily refused to go home. After much begging, her father agreed she could stay at the stables, just for one night, as long as she slept in the small break room where the staff sometimes napped. But when Tom checked on her at midnight, her sleeping bag was empty. He found her curled up beside Thunder in the stall, fast asleep with one hand resting on the horse's neck. Rather than wake her, Tom brought in a proper blanket and pillow. He sat nearby, watching his daughter and the injured horse breathe in sync. "You've got a lot of people fighting for you," he told Thunder quietly. "Don't give up now." Throughout the night, Dr. Anna and the stable hands took turns checking Thunder's temperature and giving him medicine. By morning, his fever hadn't broken, but it hadn't risen either. Lily woke at dawn, immediately checking on her patient. "How is he?" "Hanging in there," Dr. Anna answered honestly. "But he's fighting hard." Lily nodded as if this confirmed something she already knew. She dug into her backpack and pulled out a small jar. "My grandma sent this," she explained. "It's a special honey mixture for when people get sick. She says it helps fight infection." Dr. Anna looked at the homemade paste skeptically. "Please?" Lily asked. "Grandma's never wrong about medicine stuff. She was a nurse for 40 years. After checking that the ingredients were all natural and safe for horses, Dr. Anna agreed to try it on one of Thunder's smaller sores. To everyone's surprise, by that evening, the treated area looked noticeably less inflamed. They promptly applied the mixture to the remaining sores. "It's probably the antibacterial properties of the honey," the vet explained when he returned for a checkup. "Some hospitals are actually starting to use medical-grade honey for wound care." What nobody could explain, though, was how Thunder's fever broke completely that night, or why his breathing suddenly improved. Sometimes, Tom said, watching his daughter read another story to Thunder, medicine isn't just about the treatments. It's about having something or someone worth fighting for. After fighting through his fever, Thunder seemed to gain new determination. The therapy sessions that had once exhausted him now appeared to energize him instead. Each small victory, a stronger twitch, more control of his movements, built upon the last. 5 months after his accident, Tom made an announcement to the small group that had become Thunder's support team. "I think it's time to try something new," he said one crisp autumn morning. "His muscle strength has improved enough that we might be able to encourage him to put weight on his legs." Dr. Anna looked concerned. "Are you sure he's ready? If he falls again?" "We'll still use the sling for support," Tom assured her. "But instead of us moving his legs for him, we'll see if he can do it himself." Everyone gathered for this important test. The sling was adjusted so Thunder's hooves rested firmly on the ground, but most of his weight was still supported from above. Lily stood at the front of the stall, holding his favorite treat, a bright orange carrot. "Come on, Thunder," she called, holding the carrot just out of reach, just one step. The horse's ears perked forward. He could smell the carrot, and his eyes focused intently on it. He shifted in the sling, his front legs pawing at the ground as they always had. Then, while everyone held their breath, his right back leg moved forward, just an inch, but deliberately. "He did it," Miguel shouted, forgetting to keep his voice down. "Did you all see that?" Thunder seemed startled by the outburst, but then, perhaps encouraged by the excitement, he moved his left back leg as well. It was wobbly and uncertain, nothing like his once graceful stride, but it was undeniably a step. Lily was jumping up and down. "Again, Thunder. Show them again." Taking another step seemed to require enormous concentration. Thunder's entire body tensed with effort, sweat breaking out along his neck. But with Lily's encouragement, he managed 3 more small movements forward before exhaustion took over. Tom pulled out his phone. "We need to record this. No one will believe it otherwise." Over the next few weeks, these small walking sessions became the highlight of everyone's day. Thunder's strength grew rapidly now that he was actively using his muscles. The stable hands built a small walking track in the paddock, a path lined with soft sand and supported by rails on both sides that could be connected to Thunder's sling for safety. Word spread beyond the local community. A veterinary magazine wanted to do a feature story. A university equine research department sent a team to observe. Tom's video of Thunder's first steps was shared online and watched by thousands of people around the world. Why do you think this worked when most experts said it was impossible? A researcher asked Dr. Anna as they watched Thunder complete a full circuit of the walking track. Dr. Anna thought for a moment, watching as Lily walked backward in front of the horse, talking to him the whole time. I think it's because we found the perfect combination. Tom's knowledge of physical therapy gave us the techniques. My veterinary background helped us adapt them for a horse. But Lily, she smiled as the little girl offered Thunder a well-earned apple. Lily gave him a reason to try. The researcher nodded. The power of connection. We see it in human medicine all the time. Patients who exceed expectations because they have strong support systems. By the 6-month mark, Thunder could walk without the sling, though his gait remained uneven. He would never gallop across fields again or carry riders, but he could move independently, graze in the paddock, and enjoy a good quality of life, things that had seemed impossible just months before. One sunny day, the local TV station came to film a segment about the miracle horse and the team that saved him. The reporter asked Lily, who was now 7, "Were you ever afraid your plan wouldn't work?" Lily looked confused by the question. "No," she answered simply. Thunder just needed time to remember how to be a horse again, and he needed people who wouldn't give up on him. The reporter smiled. "That's a good lesson for all of us, isn't it?" Lily shrugged. "I guess so, but I didn't do it for a lesson. I did it because Thunder is my friend, and friends don't let friends give up." Later that day, Dr. Anna watched from the stable office window as Thunder followed Lily around the paddock without any support or guidance, just a horse and a little girl enjoying the autumn sunshine together. Their shadows stretched long across the grass, connected not by leads or harnesses, but by something much stronger, unshakable trust. 1 year after Thunder's accident, Willow Creek Stables held a special celebration. Colorful banners hung from the stable rafters, and a big cake shaped like a horse stood on a table in the yard. People from all over the county came to mark what everyone now called Thunder's miracle. The guest of honor himself stood proudly in the paddock, his coat gleaming in the spring sunshine. Though his back end still dipped slightly and his gait would always be uneven, he could walk, trot slowly, and even enjoy gentle runs across the field. Most importantly, he was happy and pain-free, something no one had thought possible 12 months ago. Lily, now 7.5, led him around to greet the visitors. She had grown taller over the year, but she still wore her hair in the same messy braids, and she still talked to Thunder as if he understood every word. "Remember when you couldn't even stand up?" She whispered to him between introductions. "Look at you now. You're the most famous horse in the whole state." It wasn't just Thunder who had changed. Dr. Anna had transformed half of Willow Creek into what she called an equine rehabilitation center. 2 more stalls had been fitted with the special sling systems Tom had designed. Currently, they'd housed a mare recovering from a bad leg fracture and an older pony with arthritis, both animals that might have been put down before Thunder showed what was possible. Tom had cut back his hours at the human physical therapy clinic to spend more time at the stables. He was writing a book about adapting human recovery techniques for horses, with Dr. Anna providing the veterinary expertise. Universities were already using their early chapters in veterinary courses. "We never set out to change the world," Tom told a reporter who had come to cover the celebration. "We just wanted to save one horse for one little girl." The biggest surprise had come from Lily herself. One day, while watching Thunder's therapy session, she had asked a simple question. What if other kids could help horses like I helped Thunder? That question led to the newest program at Willow Creek, Healing Hearts and Hooves, where children with all kinds of abilities came to interact with recovering horses. Some of these children had physical challenges of their own, wheelchairs, leg braces, or other mobility aids. Others faced different struggles like autism or anxiety. The children and the horses understand each other, explained the program coordinator, a kind woman with bright eyes and a ready smile. They don't see limitations, they just see friends who need a little extra help sometimes. On this special day, several children from the program had come to Thunder's party. They gathered around him, some petting his nose while others fed him apple slices. Thunder stood patiently, seeming to enjoy the attention. A small boy in a wheelchair rolled up beside Lily. "Is it true he couldn't walk at all before?" he asked, looking up at the big horse with wide eyes. "Not even a little bit," Lily confirmed. "The doctors said he would never stand again." The boy nodded thoughtfully. "My doctors used to say I wouldn't walk either. But now I can take 10 steps with my crutches." "That's amazing," Lily said. "Thunder would be really impressed." The boy smiled shyly. "Maybe I can show him next time." As the celebration continued, Dr. Anna tapped a spoon against her glass to get everyone's attention. The yard grew quiet as she began to speak. "A year ago, we were ready to give up on Thunder," she said, her voice carrying across the crowd. "We thought we knew what was possible and what wasn't. Then a 6-year-old girl showed us how wrong we were." She motioned for Lily to join her. Blushing slightly, Lily walked over, still holding Thunder's lead rope. "Because of her, we didn't just save one horse," Dr. Anna continued. "We discovered new ways to help many animals. But more importantly, we learned something that applies to all of us, humans and animals alike." She looked at Thunder, standing strong despite all odds, and then at the children from the program, each facing their own challenges with courage. "We learned that healing isn't just about medicine or therapy or even determination, though all those things matter. Sometimes healing happens because someone believes in you when no one else does. Someone who sees not what you are, but what you could be." As if understanding her words, Thunder lifted his head high and nickered softly. Lily reached up to stroke his neck, her small hand gentle on his glossy coat. "Today we're not just celebrating Thunder's recovery," Dr. Anna finished. "We're celebrating the power of connection, the power of hope, and the wisdom of a child who refused to accept that some stories can't have happy endings."